I was thinking I'm going to go into political topics pretty soon. And I was thinking I should be as racist as I could possibly be and tell you about how horrible other races are. And I should tell you right now. And this is only because I know it's going to come up eventually. And so I don't know if you've ever met an Indian. I have had more Indian friends than I have ever had American friends. I don't know if that's bad or good. Dude. So one dude, he basically bragged about when they had the cricket matches and it was in the middle of the night and they all just drank whiskey and hung out. I never got invited. So, fuck him. I would have shown up. I was single at the time. I had free time. So it was, fuck him. After that, I had another Indian friend. Actually, most of my friends are Indian. And so this dude, he actually cared for me. He was like, he had some health issues, I guess. And he's like, all you need to do is drink a whole glass of water before every meal. And he kept trying to tell me that. And he told me that over and over again. And we were just hanging out on Microsoft. And it was always like a glass of water. He's like, he was kind of like my mom. I don't know. I don't know if that's racist. I think he was too nice. So the other guy didn't let me in. This guy, let me in way too much, but then nothing after that. It was all about me drinking water. Which I don't understand. Anyway, I had, after that, dozens of friends. And by dozens, I actually do mean dozens from India, because we used to outsource everything there. And there was Shashi and other guys, and it's almost like you talk to them, but they know they don't care because they know that you don't know their name, which is true half the time, which is horrible, which probably makes me racist. But Shashi ended up getting offered a job at Microsoft, and I hope he got it. I don't know how it happened. I quit around the same time because I was done. I don't know. I'm going to go back to figure out other ways I'm racist. I was racist back in college. So I was in a dorm with a guy, and I didn't know he was Latino, but he was, and he made it very clear. Evidently, his brother was on a what would have been a podcast, but I think it was back in the day, it was like a radio show. Like he showed up for 5 minutes on a radio show. So this guy's getting tail left and right. I'm like, this guy's way outside of my league. Meanwhile, it turns out he's friends with guys that are dorky like I am. So back in college, I might have been a dork. And there's two guys. One dude was, I think they were both Japanese. They were both Asian, for sure, which maybe that makes me racist. And we just hung out. And he was a second year and I was a first year. So he knew them before I knew them. And so I would just end up sitting around in the morning and eating Fruit Loops in front of them, which is good in one way, which means these are my friends and I can trust them. But I have zero white friends back then, so I'm not getting laid. And then what happened was my roommate leaves after his second year, and I get this new kid, and it's just like painful. I don't even know what he was doing. He had some kind of medication that smelled horrible that he had a slurry over his body. I don't even know how that worked. I'd assume it had to do with acne, but I had acne, so it wasn't that. So it had to be something more serious because it smelled horrible. And basically, our whole room smelled like crap the entire time. So I had zero chance of ever doing anything. I will also say I gave up, and if I could go back in time, I gave up a million opportunities where I could have been like, hi. I could have said hi to a girl. I did not. I was deathly afraid. And, later on, hi turns into fucking. So it's one of those things where I was just, but maybe it was good for me because I completely focused on computer science, and I got my degree and I got my master's and I did all the things, and I basically didn't party at all. I don't even think this is a good video now. Let me think. I was trying to be racist. Oh, the first time I was ever racist. This is going to be great. So I love the Kansas City Royals, and that's because on Channel 2 in Denver, back when I was a kid, we got the Kansas City Royals games. So I love them. So that's all I watched. I went to school, and there was one kid, and this is going to sound horrible, but this is all true. This kid, he was like a year younger than me. He was also a Kansas City Royals fan, but he didn't like that I was the only other one there. And this is a black dude. And he actually punched me and told me I had herpes because he wanted to be the only Kansas City Royals fan. And at that point in my life, I was like, I don't even know what the hell is going on anymore. I got beat up a lot more a lot later, but so I was like, there's like one black dude and he's the only one that hates me. Like, what did I do wrong? I actually agreed with him with the Kansas City Royals. We should be friends. And I don't know what the fuck happened. I don't know. After that, nothing has happened in real life, like real life being anything after high school or college. I mean, 90% of the people I work with are from India, and I love those guys, and we're all good friends, and I have heard way too much about their lives because they are very open to share. I don't even know what else to say. Yeah, I think the only time I was racist and I was like, I hate black people was that dude that yelled at me for having herpes while we were both rooting for the Royals. That hurt. That really hurt. I don't know. I guess if you take anything away from this, if you're like 10 years old, don't yell at the other guy that he has herpes if you're on the same team. Everything after that is actually very easy. And actually, I have 1,000 more friends that are not white than are white, which is weird and sad in some ways because everybody that lives around me is white. So I have no friends around me. I have friends from Microsoft and other tech companies. I, I, I don't know. I opened up a little bit and I don't have herpes.